lion when you look inside of me. Outside the window just to watch you as you sleep. 'Cause I am a lion born from things you cannot be. How can I sleep at night? There's a war inside my head. I found a lion hidden right beneath my bed. I will not hide myself from the tears that you have shed. 'Cause I am a lion and you are dead.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I believe every lie that I ever told. Paid for every heart that I ever stole. I played my cards and I didn't fold. Well, it ain't that hard when you got sold. Somewhere I heard that life is a test. I've been through the worst, but I still give my best. God made my mold different from the rest. Then he broke that mold, so I know I'm blessed. Stand up now and face the sun. Won't hide my tail or turn and run. It's time to do what must be done. Be a king when kingdom comes. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I got all the answers to your questions. I'll be the teacher, you could be the lesson. I'll be the preacher, you be the confession. I'll be the quick relief to all your stressing. It's a thin line between love and hate. Is you really real or is you really fake? I'm a soldier standing on my feet. No surrender and I won't retreat. Stand up now and face the sun. Won't hide my tail or turn and run. It's time to do what must be done. Be a king when kingdom comes. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Master Sergeant Beavers, and welcome to today's ceremony as we pay tribute to Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila on the occasion of his retirement from active duty in the United States Air Force. Will you please silence and turn off all electronic devices so that we don't interrupt today's proceedings? And we'll begin here in just one moment. The retirement ceremony is one of the oldest and most traditional ceremonies in the military, as it honors Air Force members as they retire from long and honorable careers in the service to their country. Today's ceremony is in keeping with the customs and traditions of the Air Force. Throughout today's ceremony, you will be given cues to rise and be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, during the playing of our national anthem, military members should stand at attention, and civilians are encouraged to place their right hand over their heart. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem and the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, A1C Chavez. And Captain Underwood, please, sir, will you come up and give the invocation?
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, we thank you today for Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila, his service to his country, and devotion to duty and personal integrity above all. For the past 16 years, whether deployed or in garrison, he has stood the watch, and he has been faithful to ensure the protection and defense of the Air Force's resources and its people. We remember to you, Tech Sergeant Davila, his time as a military member is ending, and he will soon be beginning a new phase in his life journey. So we ask that you would keep your hand of favor upon him as he sets out to pursue new horizons. As Tech Sergeant Davila steps down from his watch, this new phase of life will present with him some exciting challenges and opportunities. Continue to endow and cultivate in him the patience, creativity, and integrity he will need to succeed as he pursues these new opportunities. May he continue to be grateful for the life of mission and purpose that you have given to him, and may he discover new avenues through which to use the gifts you have bestowed upon him in the years to come. We thank you for his parents, Maria and Reuben, and the rest of his family who are here supporting him today. We ask for a special blessing upon this whole family, that they may grow together and deeper as the years go by. We also thank you for the many other family and friends and colleagues who are here sharing this moment with Tech Sergeant Davila. May your blessings be upon this ceremony and all who are present. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Captain Underwood. At this time, we would also like to recognize the family. Major Silva, Davila, you may have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated as well. We'll get it together. All right. This time, we would also like to recognize the family members of Tech Sergeant Davila who are present with us today. Please welcome his mother, Maria Davila. His father, Mr. Ruben Davila. His cousin, Lorena Tenorio, sorry. His cousin, Susana Ario. In addition to Tech Sergeant Davila's family, we would like to recognize several special guests here with us today. The 633rd Mission Support Group Commander, Colonel David Chisenhall. The 633rd Mission Support Group Superintendent, Chief Master Sergeant Marvin Gilliam. The 633rd ACC Security Forces Manager, Chief Master Sergeant Jennifer Kersey, and her husband, Major Jeffrey Kersey. And to the many friends and co-workers of Jorge that have traveled here or are taking time out of their busy schedules, welcome. Now, before we formally retire Tech Sergeant Davila, Chief Master Sergeant Kersey, Tech Sergeant Davila's mentor, would like to share a few words about our honoree today. Ma'am, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Hi. Good to see you guys again. Thank you. The best thing about being part of the Air Force family is being able to get to know your families. And it's been an honor, Jorge, to be able to get to know you and watch you grow over the last 10 years. And I want to thank you for sharing your family. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad you guys made it all the way from Chicago. So Jorge and I met 10 years ago on a little fob outside of Fallujah. And he was a military working dog handler. And he kind of paved the way for a lot of you out there, because in 2004 and 2005, the Air Force was called upon to go out and support the Army and the Marine Corps with their infantry units, as we've been doing, more often than not the last 4 or 5 years. He was one of the first people that was selected to go do that. So I was lucky enough to be the MWD program manager in S4 for all the deployed members that were serving in all those geographically separated FOBs. And we didn't have any comms. I mean, email was still relatively new to the AOR at that time. And so I got this scratchy SATCOM phone call from Jorge, and he said, "Hey, I've heard all about you, and there's a bunch of Air Force guys that are out here, and there's no Air Force folks around us, and we got some things going on. Do you mind coming out and checking on us?" And ironically enough, just that same morning, I had already received a phone call from the JDOC at his location saying, "Hey, there's an Air Force guy out here, and we don't quite know what to do with him, and we heard you guys were around. Do you mind coming out here and talking to us about, what do we do with Staff Sergeant Davila?" So it was an honor. My boss and I, we kind of convoyed out there, and I got to meet him and his military working dog. And he came out of his chew, and we went and sat down, and we immediately made a connection between two airmen on an Army installation. And the cool part about it is that the Puerto Rican Army National Guard was on that particular location. So no matter where we went, because we took lots of walks over that day or two, and we went to the DFAC, and we went to the chapel, and we went to do some things together, and he showed me what he was doing with his dog in the training area. And everybody knew Jorge on that little fob. They were all hablando together, so undoubtedly he was keeping that base safe by the relationships that he made. And the unique part about you and what has been special about you, Jorge, is the human being inside the uniform. And it has been an honor for me and my family to watch you grow in the Air Force. I'm extremely proud of all that you've done for the United States Air Force and the Security Forces career field. And I appreciate all the time that we've got to spend together, not just in Iraq and the years that followed, but we served again together in Afghanistan while he and I were both over there in 2011, so that was an honor as well. And again, relationships. For any of you that have been to Bagram, you know that that place is filled with little compounds with big walls, big T-walls. This guy got behind those walls. And for force protection, that's important. He got to know the people that were behind all those little walls so that we could make sure that we had good relationships on base to make sure that we were responding and keeping people safe. And that was amazing that you were able to do that, and the airmen that followed you to do that. And plus, he took us into all these really cool little places that had like good dinners going on. Like, the Koreans and the Turks, and I mean, he knew everybody all over base. So of course, that was a major bonus too. But that speaks to your involvement when you got out there and you got on that road, whether it was with your dog or as a flight supervisor. Then obviously you were selected to work in training here, so that says a lot. And so you guys have a lot to be proud of with Jorge. So I appreciate the time that we've spent together, and thank you for being able to get up here. And I have a gift from Jeff and Kelsey and Zach and I, so just give me 1 second, please. This is a coin holder, and it says Tech Sergeant Jorge Davila, United States Air Force, 1998 to 2014. And this is my coin. Hopefully you would display this on this proudly.
Thank you, Chief Percy. We are honored to have as our presiding officer for today's ceremony the Commander, 633rd Security Forces Squadron, Major Juan Silva, Jr. Sir, welcome and thank you for your part of this memorable day.
All right, thank you very much. First off, let me thank everybody for being here. Yeah, it's a little warm in here, but it's a great day, great celebration we have. Someone who's committed over 16 years of their life to make our Air Force better, and today we celebrate your service today. Sir, Ruben, Maria, thank you very much for allowing us to borrow Jorge in our Air Force. I know you guys weren't thrilled on the idea that him joining the Air Force. He signed very early on at the age of 17. And I know he begged you. He said, please, Mom, sign this piece of paper, allow me to come to the Air Force. And finally you did it. He told me the story the other day in the office, and he started crying when he told me the story. And I said, why are you crying? And he says, I'm a mama's boy. That's what he told me. He said he was a mama's boy, and he was very excited. Every time he talked about you two, he did break down. So, as the chief said, it's about the human being in the uniform. He's a great human being, great person. We love him dearly. For the cousins that also drove down from Cicero, is that right? Cicero, did I pronounce that right? Yeah. Boom, there we go, I got it right. All right, Cicero, Chicago. Cicero, Illinois, outside of Chicago. So I said, what's in Cicero? He said, a bunch of gangs. He said, it's home of Al Capone. I said, okay, home of Al Capone, I got it. I said, so what were you like growing up as a young fella? And he said, well, I like rap music. I used to always go around making my beats and rapping. I don't know if that's true or not, but I saw the pictures. I saw his hat turned sideways, so it is probably all true there. So, again, it has been a wonderful experience having Jorge in our squadron. And I'll just fill in some of the informational career progression that Chief Kersey hit on. I want to pull out my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. There's a lot of good things here, and I don't want to mess it up because I do want to make sure we highlight everything. So he came into the Air Force in 1998, basic training. So I asked him, I said, so what did you feel like, man? Were you nervous? He's like, yeah, I was really nervous. But I worked out all summer. I was chiseled up. I got strong, did my push-ups. I could run a marathon. I said, okay, good, man. I said, so you weren't scared? No, I wasn't scared, not at all. So he says he enters the Lackland Air Force Base via bus coming out of the airport. He's coming off the bus, and there's a TI standing there waiting to greet all the new airmen. He said he stood about 6'3", 225 pounds. He said that nervousness turned to fright. He said, what did I get myself into? The TI said, get off the bus, get in formation. Sergeant Davila got in formation, and he figured he would do the same thing he did in high school. Don't make eye contact. I won't make eye contact. I did it in high school, worked okay for me. I won't make eye contact with the drill instructor. He said, stay at attention. Sergeant Davila stood like that. He said, aye, center. Davila looked up like that. 6'3", 225 pounds. He said it was frightening. He goes to sleep that night. The drill instructor comes in the next day, rattles the trash can, and said, everybody up, rise and shine. Sergeant Davila took about 2 seconds to get out of the bed. He was ready to go. The person beside him didn't get out of the bed. I guess he was a heavy sleeper. So I said, well, what did the drill instructor do? He said he got him out of bed. He threw him out of bed. So, okay, I envisioned this. I'm figuring, hey, the drill sergeant goes, pulls the covers back, says, get out of bed. That's normally the way it's done. But to the 17-year-old kid who's now frightened, he says, no, he picked up the bed, put it over his head, and shook him out of the bed, and put the bed back down. I said, he was big enough to do that? Yes, sir. He was 6'7", 280 pounds. I said, wait a minute. I thought you said he was 6'3". So Sergeant Davila encountered the only TI that continually grew in our area. So he's in the formation. Again, like this. Eyes straight. Sergeant Davila kind of does this shake. He's in the very back, the last element. TI says, you, front center. He points to himself, me, yeah, you, come on up here. He gets to the front. Sergeant Davila looks up. The Sergeant Davila says he's now 7 foot, 300 pounds. And he says, you want to be an element leader? Sergeant Davila says, no, sir, no, sir. He says, why not? He says, I don't want the responsibility. He says, that's the wrong answer, young fella. Get back in line. You are now an element leader. Sergeant Davila got back in line. He knew that it was time to become that airman. His eyes became straight. He focused. He was at attention. He was ready to lead his airmen. That's what you've been doing for the last 16 years, leading your airmen. And doing a good job at it, leading the airmen. Out of basic training, he went to Kirkland Air Force Base. I don't think he wanted and cared for New Mexico too much. He wasn't too excited about it, but he said, hey, I'll do it. I had no choice, but he said he'll do it. So he arrived to Kirkland Air Force Base. The first thing in his EPR, the commander says about him, he's fully committed to my squadron, fully committed to the community, fully committed to his fellow airmen. That's a big statement to say with a new airman 2 years brand new in the Air Force. Most airmen come into the Air Force, they come in entering the Air Force, but the Air Force hasn't entered them yet. And it takes after about that first enlistment where they finally take in the Air Force into their heart to realize this is for me. Sergeant Davila did that very early on. He helped the squadron through 2 nuclear security inspections. Twice in a row they've earned excellent ratings. And one time he was outstanding performer. Again, about 1% of the base population gets that, sir. Outstanding performer for this young fellow at a young age is exceptional. Back in 2000, we deployed folks to Kuwait to employ Operation Southern Watch, no-fly zones over Iraq. After Saddam Hussein invaded Iraq, we pushed him out, so we incorporated no-fly zones over Iraq. When the tasking came up, the commander hand-selects that time. It's not like it is now. Now, after September 11th, it's your time to go, you get out of here. We hand-selected folks to deploy to Kuwait. He deployed to Kuwait. That was our front lines at the time. Very successful in doing that mission as well. He was labeled as a self-motivator. A self-motivator. Anytime you walk around Sergeant Davila, he's always laughing, always carrying on, always having a good time. He still gets the work done, I think, right? He still gets the work done. He still gets the work done, but he always has a smile on his face. Always has a smile on his face. And you can say, yeah, he's a self-motivator. He wanted to be a K-9 military working dog handler. And so he put the package in to be a military working dog handler. His leadership approved of that. And in the interim, they decided to put him at the Visitor Control Center. Again, we put some of our sharpest young airmen. We vet so many people come onto the installation. We want to make sure that we're not letting any bad people on. And that was his responsibility, to ensure no bad people come onto the installation, to ensure critical missions ensue. During that time, as he worked at it, was September 10th. September 10th, 2001. When is September 10th, 2001? What's that, September 10th?
It's my birthday.
His birthday. His birthday.
21st birthday.
21st birthday, September 10th, 2001. So I asked him, I said, so what'd you do on your 21st celebration? He said, well, I took a week of leave. I had a good time. He said, I had a little too much to drink. I stumbled into my dorm room about 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, I hear this loud noise. He looks at it, it's probably 7 o'clock in the morning now. He looks at his roommate and says, hey, turn off your alarm clock. He said, no, that's not the alarm clock, man. That's the klaxon, that's the rest. That means we've been recalled to the unit. He says, oh, okay. He said, what's that about? He said, well, just throw on your pants. You basically sign your name in there, and they'll release you. He says, okay. As we all know, September 11th occurred. And the world had changed. The world had changed. He goes up into the squadron, and a week on leave. He had a little bit of beer. He was still hungover. He's in formation, and his flight chief says, come here, come forward. I don't spank him after I tell you this story, okay? I don't want to. He says, come forward. He says, hey, sir, I want to help, but I'm still a little hungover. He says, 2 things I need to do right now. Go back to the dormitory, shave. Second thing is go back to the dormitory and brush your teeth 5 times. That's a true story. I don't make this stuff up. I already told you guys, my unit, I don't make this stuff up. Y'all got some chatter back here. So he shaved, came back to work. He says, can you warm up? He says, I don't feel too good. I better not warm up because I need you right here answering these phones. Okay, so he came off the leave to protect the installation there during that hectic time, September 11th. So finally, he was picked up for K-9 school. And he got the call to be a K-9 handler. He was like, great, 2 things are going to occur here. First off, I'm going to become a K-9 handler. And second thing is, I get orders out of Kirkland Air Force Base. He was very excited. He shows up to K-9 school. After the first week goes by, the instructor comes up and he says, raise your hand if you received your orders. Everybody in the room raised their hand. Sergeant Davila didn't raise his hand. He's looking around. He's like, man, everybody's raising their hand. So he says, everybody puts their hands down. Davila puts his hands up. He said, what's it mean if you didn't get no orders this week? He said, that means you're going back to the base you came from. I said, shit. Back to Kirkland Air Force Base. But that was okay. He went back to Kirkland Air Force Base as a military working dog handler, and he deployed him to El Paso, Texas, the Mexican border, where he helped Border Customs Police take off drugs off of the street before it entered the United States. He ended up confiscating and taking off the streets $1.5 million worth of drugs, 1,000 pounds of marijuana, I think it was 44 pounds of cocaine as well. So he did a good job for them. The #1 choice as well, when the commander needed someone to protect then presidential candidate John Kerry, they looked at Sergeant Davila. They wanted the best K-9 handler out there doing sweeps. They picked Sergeant Davila for that. Before he left Kirkland Air Force Base, he encountered a little bit of turmoil, I guess. He was playing softball, as he likes to do. He was playing softball. He was running around the bases, and a softball hit him right in the right eye. So he ended up having 2,200 in this eye, 20 in this eye, 2,200 and 20. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you see? He's got a lazy eye. You can kind of tell he's got a lazy eye now. But don't look at it too close. So he gets 2,200 right in this eye, and then he goes, you might be MEB'd off of this. You might get MEB'd off of this. He goes, I don't want to be MEB'd. I love this thing. Air Force is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. He said, there's only one way around it then. You got to be able to effectively do your job. He said, well, what do I need to do? He said, well, you got to fire. You can't see out of your right eye. How do you fire like that? He said, well, I'll fire with my left eye. I'll fire left-handed. So on the Davila stayed on the range hours on end, practicing left-handed how to fire. He can now fire today, fire left-handed and right-handed. How to overcome something that people saw it as a hurdle, you saw it as an opportunity to excel. So now this guy can fire both hands. So no matter what side you're coming out of, man, he's got you. In 2005, he was stationed in Yokota Air Force Base, protecting 11,000 personnel, $2 billion worth of warfighting assets. Exceptional job there as well. Again, military working dog support for Secretary of State, then Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and also the Emperor of Japan. That's pretty cool. Also, as I read he didn't tell me this, but I started reading his EPR, and it said also protected I Am Legend Will Smith as he did his movie premiere. And I said, hey man, you didn't tell me I called him up, so you didn't tell me you protected Will Smith. He said, sir, when you guard the Emperor of Japan, Will Smith is nothing. So, it's all good. I said, okay, well, I'm going to talk about it. I think that's pretty cool because the crowd did get restless. He settled them down, and it was good to go after that. He helped Yokota win the best large security forces unit, PACAF, out of 12 bases. Sergeant Davila and his team won the best large security forces unit out of there. And also one of the deployments that he was on, tough tasking in the 3rd Infantry Division, 101st Airborne, when they went into Iraq. So this is part of the Chief Kersey. She talks about these joint missions outside the wire. One of the first defenders to do this kind of stuff. It wasn't a nice environment, I would say. Very dangerous. I'm assuming you didn't tell your parents everything, and I don't want to go into a lot, but I will say he did very well. One of the first couple of missions, he drove out. His friend was driving in the front vehicle, and he hit IED. The front vehicle was disabled, and he was able to jump right in the front of that vehicle, make sure his friend was okay, and pull the vehicle to safety back into the installation. But some of this was pretty dangerous stuff. They would go into villages, knock down doors, go into houses. He was a military working dog handler there. And they ended up taking 251 enemy insurgents off the streets. That way they couldn't harm coalition forces or the friendly folks of Afghanistan. So those 251 enemy insurgents sit in prison today. So outstanding work there. He continued on to come back to Yokota, and then he later deployed to Manis Air Force Base. Manis Air Force Base is a strategic hub for us as we deploy munitions, medical supplies, and people passing to Afghanistan. 300 passengers passed through. He ended up pulling security for that. So again, Sergeant Davila, heck of a mission. After that, he moved to Guam, Anderson Air Force Base in 2008. And the host nation came to the commander and said, we want to start doing some jungle operations. We want you to be joint with us. We want to start utilizing your military working dogs to go into the jungles with us. We want the one who's exceptionally well qualified. Who was that one exceptionally well qualified? That was Sergeant Davila. He stood up that mission where they would go in and look for any illegal activity in the jungles of Guam, and he kept everybody safe as well. He also deployed to Bagram out of Yokota, ensuring Bagram, another strategic hub that we have, Bagram Air Force Base that we currently deployed to, but he ensured 10,000 sorties were launched out of there, ensuring 1.5 million pounds of munitions was dumped on the enemy's head. So that's pretty impressive as well. In 2011, he came to Langley Air Force Base. Glad to have him. Came in with a smile on his face. $6 billion of assets he was in charge of protecting. 4 wings on this installation. Combat headquarters, Air Combat Command. We have a 4-star general here. A lot of strategic intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance missions that we carry on. A lot of strategic missions that we do here. Very important that we get it right, and Sergeant Davila help us get that security accurate. In 2011, right when he came to us, we asked him, would you deploy back to Bagram Air Force Base, Airfield? And he said, yeah, I'll go back. So he went back. Now this is kind of when the career field took a change in the security posture, in 2011. This is when the UAE compound was indirect fire hit the UAE compound, started a big fire, and the fire spread rapidly. And Colonel Runquist tells a story as we've seen this, National Geographic did an episode about defenders. And he said this was really the change of the war for security forces. When we started going outside the wire, knocking on people's doors, trying to find out who was the one attacking Bagram. So now our security not only encompassed the fence line, we now had to go outside the wire, go outside the fence line to find the enemy to make sure they won't bring any harm and disrupt our mission at Bagram Airfield. The incident occurred with the UAE compound when enemy insurgents came up to the perimeter and started lobbing mortars into the compound. There was a flight chief on duty that day that saved numerous lives. The compound began to be engulfed in flames. There was a fuel truck nearby where the fire continued to spread. There was a couple of hundred people in the compounds, and the flight chief at the time went into the compound and started evacuating everybody out. They actually, as he evacuated people out, people in the compound tried to come back in to get personal things. And he said, no, you can't go back in there. It's too dangerous. He said, well, allow us to get the munitions because the munitions will explode. And he made a call. Flight chief made a call. He said, go back in there and get the munitions. That way they won't explode. The fire started to get bigger and bigger. The fire department was on the way, but there was no time to wait. So the flight chief on duty that day grabbed the fire extinguisher and began to fight the fire himself. His thought was, you can't move the fire truck because they couldn't find the keys. He would have to jump in there and fight the fire himself, put himself in harm's way. Because he knew if that fire touched that fuel truck, there'd be a lot of lives lost. That flight chief on that day was Sergeant Davila. He got a medal, a decoration for his heroism that day. And folks, I can tell you this. This man has done magnificent things for his country, and he will be missed. And you know we love you. I get teary-eyed when I talk about Sergeant Davila because he's been through a lot of things. He's given me everything he had. I presented him with the commander's coin the other day, a coin that I give to my best airmen. Only when they do exceptional things. I gave it to Sergeant Davila, and he starts laughing at me. I said, "What are you laughing for?" He said, "This is my 4th one." I said, "Give me back that coin." Sergeant Davila ended up being my staff NCO of the year for 2013. Again, that's pretty significant, folks. We stick him on the mobile training team where he could take all the technical lessons learned through his career and teach everyone in the squad. So that's what he's been doing for us over the last year on our mobile training team, and he has done a magnificent job. Ruben and Maria, thank you very much for allowing us to utilize Sergeant Davila in a capacity that not only helped our Air Force, but helped our nation. And if your goal was to raise an individual who touched so many lives, you have succeeded. You should be proud, as we are, of Sergeant Davila. Sergeant Davila, come on up. Let's read your declaration, and let's begin this retirement.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal to Tech Sergeant Davila and remain standing for the publishing of the retirement order. Attention to orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal to Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila for meritorious service from 12 March 2011 to 1 August 2014. Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila distinguished himself meritoriously as trainer, 633rd Security Forces Squadron, 633rd Air Base Wing, Joint Base Langley, Eustis, Virginia. During this period, Sergeant Davila provided training to over 350 Security Forces members. His efforts resulted in flawless security of 129 alarmed facilities and $6.4 billion in protection level resources. Additionally, Sergeant Davila organized a Shoot, Move, and Communicate course, which ensured a total of 192 hours of training was conducted and over 200 defenders maintained weapon certifications. Furthermore, as non-commissioned officer in charge of passing registration, he devised a restricted area badge tracking program. He inventoried over 9,000 credentials, which prevented a mass card reissue. Also, under his direction as Booster Club president, he raised upwards of $6,800 from annual unit fundraisers. Finally, Sergeant Davila refurbished the Engagement Skills Trainer 2000, saving an estimated $35,000 in operation and maintenance fees. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Davila culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force.
Policy orders.
Attention to orders. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force, Special Order Number Alpha Charlie 006441, dated 22 March 2014. Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila, effective 31 July 2014. You are relieved from active duty from Headquarters Air Combat Command, Langley Air Force Base, Virginia. Retirement effective 1 August 2014 per AFI 36-3203 in the grade of Technical Sergeant after 16 years and 9 days of faithful and honorable service to your country. Ladies and gentlemen, Tech Sergeant Davila has received letters of appreciation congratulating him on his retirement from Chief Staff of the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, and the Air Force Chief of Security Forces, Commander Air Combat Command. Major Silva will now present a certificate of appreciation to Tech Sergeant Davila from the President of the United States, which reads, Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps, and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for your happiness and success in the future. Signed, Barack H. Obama, Commander-in-Chief. When someone retires from the Air Force, they still remain a valued part of our Air Force family. As an outward sign of the years of hard work, dedication, sacrifice, and devotion to duty, Tech Sergeant Davila has consistently displayed through his 16 years of service. We will now prepare to present the retired Air Force pen. May you wear it with pride to remind you not only of all you've accomplished, but to remind you that you are forever an airman, forever a patriot, and always a part of the United States Air Force family. Mama Davila, please place the pen upon your son's left lapel. Major Silva will now present letters of appreciation to Mr. Davila and Mrs. Davila for the support and sacrifices they've made during their son's Air Force career. The ACC Chief of Security Forces passes on his congratulations in a letter that reads, "To all that see these parents, these presents greetings. This is to certify that Maria and Ruben Davila are bestowed upon this day, 13 June 2014, the distinction of being an honorary Security Forces member in testimony of your support and cooperation to the men and women of Security Forces. Signed, Colonel Eric K. Runquist, ACC Chief of Security Forces." Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Davila.
You're welcome.
All right, now time for the big moment here. We will now retire Technical Sergeant Davila's Security Forces badge, followed by the final toast. During his entire career, Tech Sergeant Davila held allegiance to his country, devotion to duty, and personal integrity above all. He wore the badge of authority with dignity and restraint, and promoted by example high standards of conduct, appearance, courtesy, and performance. He sought no favors because of his position. He performed his duties in a firm, courteous, and impartial manner, irrespective of a person's color, race, religion, national origin, or sex. Tech Sergeant Davila gained the respect of his fellow airmen with whom he came in contact, as witnessed by the gathering of friends, relatives, and co-workers. This Security Forces badge number, Sierra 5348, is retired from the United States Air Force effective 1 August 2014. Signed, Colonel Eric Runquist, Chief of Security Forces. At this time, Tech Sergeant Davila, would you like to invite several people in front to share with him the final toast? These co-workers, friendship, and mentorship have supported him and his family in his career and beyond. This is Jorge's way of saying thank you for your friendship and support. As I call your name, please come forward and join Major Silva and Sergeant Davila on the stage. Chief Kersey.
Major Kersey.
Major Kersey. Chief Gilliam. Senior Master Sergeant Gillette. Myself, momentarily. Master Sergeant Cleveland. Master Sergeant Dave Moore. Master Sergeant George Moore. Tech Sergeant Franklin. Tech Sergeant Garza. Tech Sergeant Dyer.
I got everybody.
Staff Sergeant Wade. And Staff Sergeant Turner. The police will be posted up for DUIs immediately following these.
Only the best.
This is a time-honored tradition you are about to witness and is widely considered the ultimate toast. The ultimate toast consists of 3 parts: the toast to the honored party, the drink downed in one gulp, and the glass broken. Ultimate toast began with the Tsars of Russia and during the days of King George III of England. After a toast to the king, the glasses were then broken so that no lesser mortal could ever be honored from the same glass. Though originated from royalty, General Douglas MacArthur borrowed the concept and established the military version of the toast when he proclaimed the American military man and woman as the most noble of humankind. With this in mind, Major Silva, Tech Sergeant Davila, and honored guests, please prepare for the toast.
Please raise your glasses. Sergeant Davila, thank you for everything, for your commitment to us, the United States Air Force, and to your nation. We love you and we miss you. To the badge!
To the badge!
Who missed?
All right, pending any medical response, we'll carry on.
I'll tell you what, cops, I'd say what? A little nerves. Can I sit down now?
Thank you, Major Silva. You may have this. Good Lord, man. All right, the 633rd training section will now present Tech Sergeant Davila with a shadow box, followed by a presentation from the Langley Hispanic Heritage Committee.
That wasn't my first shot today. All right, so we put this together for you. Hope you enjoy it. Just pride. Displayed everywhere you've been, everything you've done. We love you. Love you, sir.
It says, thank you for your 16 years of service, your selfless dedication, and all the sacrifices you have made. We honor and salute you for serving so that family, friends, and neighbors may live as we wish in this land of free. Godspeed in your future endeavors. From the 633rd training section.
Well, I just wanted to say a few words from me to Jorge and on behalf of the Langley Hispanic Heritage Council. For me personally, he's been a great friend my entire time here. We've had a lot of good nights out, lots of good times. But other than that, I mean, just professionally speaking, for those of you who know me, you know, back from when I was at the 633rd, you know, I was very involved with the Booster Club, the private org thing and all that. And it's hard a lot of times to get people to support you, you know, in your endeavors, get volunteers, get people that are as passionate as you are about doing those kind of things. And when I first met Davila, it was when we really first started getting to know each other. He became my vice president when I was the president for the Booster Club. So anyways, as I got to know him better and better, like I found out like he was just like me, really passionate about it, really hardworking, cared about you know, all the events we put on and everything. Like, hey, if we didn't get the support, we're gonna make it happen, even if it was just me and him doing everything. So personally, I just want to thank you for being there for me and with me all those times when we were a good team doing that stuff. Then on behalf of the Langley Hispanic Heritage Council, he recently took over as a president, and then he found out, you know, he's retiring, so he left the position. But we want to make sure that we got something special for him, because in his short time there, you know, he brought a reinvigoration to the committee. And we all, you know, are great friends with him. It's just like the Major said, you know, he's an awesome guy, always got a smile on his face, always motivated, happy. So he got the council really going. So on behalf of me, Sergeant Bonilla, and the Langley Hispanic Heritage Council, we got you something, but unfortunately, it's the same thing. If you have enough coins to fill both, keep them, or we can just give you the money for some J's or something.
Got my savings though.
Right.
These gifts will continue to serve as a reminder to him and to all those who see it of his faithful years of service. Time for the watch. Friends, for over 16 years, this airman has stood while many of us lay about in our beds at night. He stood the watch. While others of us were attending schools, this airman stood the watch. And yes, even before many of us were born, he stood the watch. While at distant locations, this airman looked back and saw his family needing his guidance, but he knew he had to stay because he had the watch. For many years, he stood the watch so that we and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly and safely. Today, we are here to say the watch stands relieved. Relieved those you have led, guided, and trained. Technical Sergeant Davila, you stand relieved. We have the watch.
We have the watch.
For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space with Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our U.S. Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of American has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedoms that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you Technical Sergeant Jorge Davila, United States Air Force, retired.
Thank you. So whoever had me crying at 50 minutes, you want to pull. I had a speech written out, and I kind of just wanted to shoot from the hip. I thought it'd be better. So about 2 years ago, I was sitting at home, and my mom asked me to, before, I'm gonna test your Spanish, sir.
No, don't do that, man. No,
I always clown about whether you know Spanish, and he's like, yes, I know Spanish, say something. And he'll never speak it. So I'm sitting at home 2 years ago on leave, and my mother and I are sitting in the kitchen, and she asked me to get out of the Air Force. And you know, I sat there and I told her that I thought this was meant for me. That this is what God had planned for me. Fast forward 2 years and I'm retiring. You know, many times in my life I thought I knew what God had in store for me. And then He showed me what He really has in store for me. Through some ups and downs in my career, all learning experiences, and I'm truly grateful for all the friends and family that I've had in my 16 years. I want to thank God, obviously, first and foremost, for giving me everybody here in my life, putting you guys in my life, whether it's been only the last couple months, whether it's been my whole career, my family. I have a great family. And my parents came here about, I think in the 70s. They came here from Mexico. They found each other, fell in love, got married, had me. You know, I'm sure they wanted more kids, not just me. You know. But they've always been there, supported me. You know, it took my mom a lot of courage to sign those papers for me, so I could come in the Air Force. And for her, this career has been 16 years too long. For some other family members, it's been 12 years too long. And I know for some of my coworkers, my peers, my mentor, I'm cutting it short. No regrets. I look over here and I see how happy they are, and it makes me happy, even though I'm crying. It does make me happy, but I think if you know me, you know that I'm a happy person, but most of my happiness comes from making other people happy. It's the kind of person I am. With the airmen, this isn't an easy job. I tell you guys to do the best that you can. I take some pride in what you do. I know that I find motivation in my parents, because I know that it wasn't easy being immigrants in this country and having to struggle, and that's my motivations. So find some motivation and do a great job, whether you like this career field or not. For the NCOs, find somebody that you can learn from. Get yourself a mentor. I think I had the best one.
And I just lost mine.
You know, you guys need to be good examples for those young airmen. For the senior NCOs, thank you for everything you've done for me. Continue to lead. Continue to be a great example for all the NCOs and the airmen. I love this career field. Sorry, Gillette, she's trying to get me out. She's trying to get me to go to ALS. And I was almost there. And I asked her if I could still wear my beret. And she said no. And I said, never mind. True statement, right? True. I love this job so much. So thank you for everyone who came out. I want to specifically, there's people out here in the crowd that I definitely want to identify. My cousins, thank you for making the trip. You guys have always been there for me. I appreciate it. You guys have been great support. Susie and Lorena, thank you. Love you too. Felicia, thanks for coming out. Been a great friend. We've known each other since we were like 6 or 7. Yeah, so thank you for coming out. To my boy Franklin, Tech Sergeant Franklin here, who, man, you cross-trained, I can't believe it. But we were at our first base together. I introduced him to his wife. You're welcome. Yes. We reunited again in Guam, and he's got a great family. Family that I look up to. Stop it. Sergeant Wade. We got blown up together. April 22nd, 9/15.
2006.
Yep. Never forget it. It's funny how the military works. He's Army, I'm Air Force. I'm thinking after Iraq, I'm never going to see him again. I'm sitting in Afghanistan, people watching at the Green Bee.
Girl watching.
Girl watching, yeah. And there, you know, here comes that Sergeant Wade walking down by the Green Bee. And I'm like, wow, we didn't know we were there. So, first 2 people I talked about are my brothers. They're that close to me. Love you guys. Who else? Colonel Chisholm, thanks for coming out, sir. When I met you at the past registration, yeah, I was at CIC, and sir, I feel I'm pretty good at judging people right off the bat, and I just knew you were a big commander, and listening to you speak at award ceremonies, I could just tell that you cared about everybody. Thank you. For my leadership within the unit, Major Silva, Chief Gilliam. Man, so many times I've been in your office crying, huh? Typical. But you guys have given me some great advice. Kept me in the unit, even though I tried to leave. You guys have been great, whether it was personal issues or work issues. You guys have always been there to help me out, and you guys always had open doors for me. You guys never needed an appointment. I knew I could just stop in. I thank you very much. Sergeant Gillette, we met in Japan. We were great friends there.
You have a big heart.
I have a big heart, yeah. Guess I did you a big favor. Never thought I'd see you here. You know, funny how things work. She requested me on Facebook right before I PCS'd here. And it was like, it was like crazy. I was making my way here to Virginia. She requested me, and I was like, oh, hey, you're there? I'm coming there. And I forgot my shoes for my blues when I was processed. So I asked her if she could buy me some, and I pay her back, and she returned the favor by buying me some shoes. So You know?
You know you like shoes.
And you know I love shoes. Not these shoes. You know? I love me some Jordans. Everybody knows that. Sorry, Cleveland, talk about shoes. You've been there for me lately. You know, you opened your door and allowed me to vent. Thank you. Man. Chief Kersey, Major Kersey. Wow. You know, like I said, I couldn't have asked for the best mentor. We met in Iraq, like she stated. We met again in Bagram, and at that point, that's where I knew that she, you know, I wanted her to be my mentor. She helped me. She made, you know, helped me through career decisions and through personal issues. She was always there. So I could call her at any time, and I could vent. I could cry, and she's always been there, whether it was to give me advice, to yell at me, whatever it is I needed at the time, she gave it to me, whether I wanted to hear it or not. And I love her, but I love you very much. Major Kersey, you've always been there as well. Thank you for welcoming me. You know, are your family. I met a lot of other people. Sergeant Moore, both of you guys. Sergeant Moore put me in for my first award, Dave Moore. First time I won an award, like 13 years of my career, first time I won an award, sir. So I appreciate you recognizing me and seeing the accomplishments and everything I'm putting in. Sergeant Moore, you've been my supervisor more than once. Thank you. I appreciate everything. Sergeant Beavers. He helped me find those drugs out in El Paso too. He was out there. That's where I met him. So, it's just crazy how small the Air Force is and who you run into. I just want to thank everybody. I'm going to miss the badge. I'm going to miss the beret. And I'm not going to let anybody down. I know that, you know, like I said, some people think I'm leaving too early because I have the potential to be a great person in this Air Force, but I'm not going to let anybody down. Whatever it is that I continue on, I'm going to strive to be the best. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's ceremony. Please stand for the departure of the official party and the playing of the Air Force song. Jorge would like to invite you to stay and share in the refreshments provided by the Langley Hispanic Heritage Committee. And thank you for attending today's event. And we wish you a great Air Force Day. Congratulations, Jorge.
Alvaro!